What are the economic benefits of redevelopment? I'm Jill Horner. This is Comcast Newsmakers. With me this hour is Tom Kovach. He is president of the Newcastle County Council. Thanks for being with us.
My pleasure, Jill.
When we talk about redevelopment, give us an idea as to how you see this working out in terms of economic benefits, what it could mean for the county.
The county's obviously facing tough economic times, like our state, like our country. If we're going to have growth, if we're going to have development, one of the best things that we can do, one of the best economic returns, one of the best things for an overcrowded northern Newcastle County is promote redevelopment, which is where you already have an existing building that maybe is dilapidated. It could be a brownfield with environmental contamination. It could just be abandoned, where you've had industry before, where you've had a marketplace before. And you go in and you offer incentives for utilizing that current property, where there's that infrastructure that's already in place, the roads, the sewer, the electricity, rather than letting somebody just put through a plan that plows down an open field, takes up a green space, and converts that open space to a new shopping center when the old place, the brownfield, is left as a blight on society in our community. So it could serve as an economic benefit and also a community benefit.
You said incentives. What types of incentives are you talking about when it comes to redevelopment of brownfields or other sites?
The county has a relatively complicated UDC, Unified Development Code, and what we are offering by these incentives, if you already have an existing location with that existing infrastructure, and you use the property after redevelopment in a use consistent with the prior use, you shouldn't then have to redo a lot of the work that was done in the first place, as far as traffic requirements, as far as DELDOT requirements, as far as making sure that there's adequate parking. You've already operated, the facility's already been operated. You can come in and you can streamline the process, skip those steps, and still serve the public benefit and still make sure those requirements are met. But to skip those initial steps since you already have an existing property.
So, for example, if it had already been a retail space or if it had already been a car dealership and you go in and use it for those same purposes, you can skip those steps?
Absolutely. If you use it, and it doesn't even have to be in an identical use, but in an identical use pattern, as in how many people are going to be traveling in and out, how many people are going to be occupying that space, because then it allows, with the time value of money is very important to developers. So you can come in and give incentive to use a property that's been used before, if in return they can skip the steps required to show that there's adequate parking, there's adequate controls, there's adequate infrastructure in place.
Are there additional steps that the county needs to take in order to either further streamline this process or put additional emphasis on redevelopment rather than new construction? Absolutely.
I mean, if you have redevelopment, then it becomes a blight on a community. Without encouraging that redevelopment, if you have an abandoned property, it can lower the property value. So if we encourage and incentivize that redevelopment, we really can encourage that redevelopment. Otherwise, if you go to the open space, we have limited amount of open space here in Newcastle County, and there's already a built-in customer base as well. So we're doing this in an environmentally friendly way, lessening environmental impacts and improving the economic development for our county.
Is there an overall plan for the county, a master plan or a comprehensive plan in place at this point, and how often is that revisited?
The comprehensive plan is actually currently being reviewed. It's reviewed every 5 years, and it has to be implemented through ordinances that are imposed through the UDC process, and you change that through ordinances. So we revisit these use of the county lands consistent with a comprehensive plan and make sure we are moving forward in a positive way, smart growth, smart development in a time where we really need economic development in our county.
And we just have a short time left, but how important is land use and redevelopment in terms of what you do as a county council?
It's very important. I mean, it's quite frankly one of the critical components, one of the local government controls, local government controls is land use. And for the county to have control and use that control wisely is incredibly important to the constituency of the county.
Thanks so much. We've been talking with Tom Kovach. I'm Jill Horner.